Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a little relaxing, little laid back. I'm bringing you on a morning making breakfast on a very dark and rainy day, and we are having biscuits and gravy for breakfast. Biscuits and gravy is one of the comfort foods for our family. We eat it quite a bit, to be honest, and I have found making it from scratch is easier, and I think it's cheaper than making it traditionally how I was taught growing up. Gravy is so easy. It's just a few ingredients. I always start with browning a pound of sausage. Sometimes I do a double batch and we eat it for a couple days, but we were not feeling like having that many leftovers this weekend. So we start with browning, and I want to get my sausage always started before the biscuits because it always takes longer. Our favorite biscuit recipe is by Jill Winger. It's in her cookbook, A Prairie Homestead, and they are just so good. They are easy, they are simple, they are delicious. The key ingredient is making buttermilk, and if you've never made buttermilk, it's something super easy to keep on, not to keep on hand, but to make if you don't keep it on hand. It's just vinegar and milk. For a half a cup, it's a teaspoon and a half or a tablespoon and a half of vinegar to milk, and it just is magic. It works so well. And the recipe is very simple. It's butter, sugar, flour, milk, salt. I'm probably missing something somewhere, but it is super easy, and for as many times as I make it, I should have it memorized, but I do not. So what I do is I just pull out my cookbook every time. Her cookbook is one we use for so many recipes. It is amazing. If you don't have it, I highly suggest it. I will leave it linked down below because it is really one of our favorites, and they are like the easiest biscuits to make. Oh, baking powder, there you go. I'm sharing you baking powder. That's one of the other things we put in it. These biscuits are easy enough to whip up for dinner, for a breakfast. They do not take very long. Sometimes I feel like some biscuits can take longer than you would expect. They come together, in just a couple of minutes, and then they bake for about 12 to 15 minutes, depending upon your oven. My oven always seems to cook everything hot, so it goes pretty quickly. So you can see my sausage there is still working its way to be cooked. I don't know what it is about sausage taking forever, but in my world, it always does. Oh, here you go. You get to watch me cut up butter. So a lot of people like to put their butter in the freezer and grate it or do all sorts of cool tricks with it. I honestly just like to chop mine, and I chop it into little cubes. I find it works just the easiest for me because I'm impatient. Friends, I am impatient. This just gets the job done a whole lot quicker. And I've done this so many times that sometimes doing other tricks, you do it once or twice, but when you're so used to something working for so long, why change it up? I will tell you, to mix this dough, you could do so many different ways, but you really, really just need to get in there with your hands. Don't try to do all sorts of things. Just get in with your hands, embrace getting a little messy. It will all work out. Oh yeah, and double fisting biscuits and coffee all at the same time, because I don't know about you, but lately my kids are on another level from spring break and just having so much fun. So we have enjoyed it, and we were going out on a bang with a rainy weekend. And this weekend we took things super relaxed. So it was nice to have a slow morning. Somehow life has been super busy for us, and I have found taking things slow sometimes is hard. So, back to biscuits. I'm going to be on tangents probably this whole video. I'm sorry in advance. Your hands and these biscuits are friends. And, just get in there and get dirty. It comes off your hands pretty easy, I will be honest. But I feel like it's just like meatloaf. You have to get in there and you really have to use your hands. You probably could use a food processor or something, but no, just use your hands. It is easy. And while we're here, we can also oogle at my vintage Pyrex bowl. This was a birthday present to myself a couple years ago, and I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite Pyrex patterns, and it matches my kitchen so perfectly. So I'm a sucker for it. I've grown up with so much Pyrex Corningware, Corelle dishes, that there's just something about all of them that they feed my soul. So my biscuits, I cheat. I just cut them into squares. I don't do anything fancy, rolling them out or anything like that. I just push it into a circle and cut it up. I cut my biscuits small, probably way smaller than you typically would, only because my kids like these biscuits a lot. And when I cut them smaller, it just kind of controls the portions for them grabbing and snacking when, kids always seem to snack on something. So I'd rather that just be a tad smaller, because I don't know about you, but my kids are lately into the thing of wanting to snack and not eat meals. So that's what I've been doing, and it makes them go a little farther, I feel like. Now, this pan is one of my all-time favorites. It is from Pampered Chef. It is a stoneware baking sheet. They have baking sheets, cookie sheets, pizza pans, all sorts of different things. But I found it works the best in my electric oven, because my electric oven gets so hot. I feel like it just cooks more evenly than glass does. Anything we cook in glass seems to burn a little bit more, and it's just frustrating. So here I go struggling. Anyone else struggling in the kitchen on a daily basis? Our kitchen isn't very big, so I'm working on one counter spot right next to the sink, and you can see the other counter on the other side of my stove, and we have a small island. We do not have a large kitchen. I love the layout of my kitchen, though. It works perfectly for a one-person cooking all the time. There you go. Who knows what I'm telling my husband, but all right, back to that gravy. How many times do you think I'm going to get sidetracked while talking to you all? So you really want to break up your sausage. That's the key. And what I have found is there is no right amount of flour that you're adding in, and this is just all-purpose flour. I just add and add and add till everything is nicely coated with the flour. And at this point, I have turned, I keep it on like a low-medium heat while the flour cooks in, and then when I add in my milk, I change it to low. And I have found making gravy like this, the key is to cook it low and slow. Now, as you're adding in milk, I finished 1 gallon, starting on the next, but really scrape that bottom bits off the pan. That's called fond, and it's just such good flavor. So gravy is so easy to make. Oh, here's the finished biscuits. Super yummy. Look how cute those are. Look at that. You can even see the little layers. Perfectly golden brown on the bottom. Little fluffy. They are good, friends. Like, you need this cookbook. I'm telling you, they are good. Okay, back to gravy. So, sidetrack. What I was saying is you want to do it low and slow, and gravy is only a few ingredients. So we've got sausage, flour, milk, and then eventually I add pepper. 4 ingredients. That's all you need. I find sausage is salty enough, so you don't really need to add any salt. You, of course, can if you'd like. But you can see as the milk is heating, it's still liquidy. But since we added flour and you cook it, as you add in the milk, it will naturally thicken. And the longer you cook it, the thicker you will get. It does take time though. Don't rush it. You can see it's getting thicker here, and it's just about there. I could like drool over white gravy. I do honestly not like a lot of gravy at all, but I can get down with some white gravy. So we're at the point where gravy is pretty much done. It's nice and thick, and then you add the pepper at the end. This is like, I feel like the secret about what makes it not overly peppery, but it's like that perfect amount of pepper. And it looks like I put a whole lot of pepper in. And honestly, I did, but it's because it's a fine ground pepper, not your typical pepper you would find, you know, to add in. So if you need to know, don't buy fine ground pepper. I mean, you could if that was your choice, but it's been a joke that we keep dealing with all this fine ground pepper in our joke, in our house, not our joke. So there you go. Breakfast is pretty much done. And to plate this up, oh, there you go. I'm showing off my final bits of gravy to you. To plate it up, we just tear open the biscuits, pour it on. It is great. For my kids, I always rip up their biscuits. Now, for breakfast, we decided to have some fruit, and last minute decision, canned fruit is awesome. If you do not keep any on hand, it is amazing. But hack, buy your fruit in 100% juice, and then you can save the juice, and then you can make syrup or all sorts of things with it. Sometimes I even turn this into Jell-O or gummies for my kids. It's one way for me to get collagen or gelatin in them, and it's just good, and it's sweet, all natural, 100% juice. It is so good. So we always do pear and peach because my husband doesn't like pears, but we all love peaches, so we always mix them together. But a pint will hold about 3 cans worth of juice. So a little tidbit if you ever need to know. And a sink mesh drain fits inside a canning funnel perfectly. So add that to your wish list because it is so good. So our favorite size plates to eat on, if you need to know, are considered sandwich plates by Corral. They're smaller than your typical dinner plates, and they're just that perfect size plate. So we rip the kids, well, I rip the kids' biscuits into pieces. They feel like they're big kids that way. And then my husband and I, we just have our biscuits normally. And here you go, you can watch me plate everybody's up. I always film these a few days, or I edit a few days after, so sometimes I forget what all I filmed. But I apparently pulled out 5 plates. There's only 4 of us. This is a super easy way. I feel like easy breakfast, I should say, for us. And now that we live in the South, I'm finding it's like a very traditional thing. When we go out to eat places, my kids now want my biscuits and gravy, not normally what they get. Which, I mean, I always love, because then I feel like, you know, you did something right as a mom. But this is, you know, just the perfect ending to our day. So thank you so much for joining us. Make breakfast and all my crazy things. I have lots of videos coming out here soon. So I will be sharing as I do, and have a great day, and I hope to see you on my next video. Bye, friends.